Pastor Samuel Adeyemi wasn't an ordinary preacher. At 42, he had built the Mountain of Divine Light Ministries from a small wooden canopy to a large and lively church in Ezioke. People admired him. They trusted his words. They believed he couldn't be shaken. But he carried something inside him, something he never talked about. A weakness he always hoped no one would notice. Before we continue, please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel for more captivating African stories. Amara was 22, calm, polite, and almost invisible when she walked. She had moved to Ezioke only a few months earlier and worked quietly at a small provision shop near the main road. Most people liked her, yet no one could say they truly knew her. She never shared much, and any time her past came up, she simply said, "It's complicated." Then there was Chief Mori, the native doctor of Umwagu. A man whose name alone made people swallow their words. He lived away from the noise of town and rarely showed his face, but stories about him traveled faster than Harmattan wind. People always said the same thing: if Chief Mori feels insulted, you won't find peace. No one in Ezioke imagined that these three lives were slowly moving toward one another. Ezioke was a town where a church and a shrine could stand 2 streets apart without anyone raising an eyebrow. Everyone minded their business. Everyone had their own beliefs. Pastor Samuel's church was growing quickly. Each Sunday felt louder than the last. But every growth attracts eyes, and among those eyes was Amara. She began coming for evening prayer meetings, always sitting at the back, always listening with full attention. Pastor Samuel noticed her because she never looked distracted. When he preached, her eyes stayed on him. When he prayed, she prayed along with quiet intensity. The church women eventually started whispering. "Who is that new girl? Where did she come from? She doesn't talk to anybody." But nobody imagined what was ahead. Amara soon began helping around the church, sweeping after midweek services, wiping chairs, arranging hymn books. No one asked her to, she simply did it. And Pastor Samuel responded to her presence in a way even he couldn't explain. He became softer with her. Too soft. He started giving her special attention without realizing it. His wife, Mama Ruth, noticed first. "How come this girl is always near you?" she asked one evening. He brushed it off. "Don't start unnecessary trouble." The elders also noticed the long conversations after service. They noticed she stayed behind even when everyone else had gone home. But without proof, they kept quiet. Something was shifting, quietly, but surely. One evening, after a long prayer meeting, Amara came into the counseling room with red eyes. She didn't speak at first. Then she suddenly burst into tears. Pastor Samuel tried to calm her. "What's going on?" he asked. She said she had been running from her father, that life at home wasn't easy, that she felt safer in Ezioke than anywhere else. He prayed for her, or at least he tried to. But in that moment, he let comfort turn into something else. One moment of weakness, one decision he never planned to make, changed everything. The night ended, and nothing was said. But the silence that followed became louder than any confession. Weeks passed. Amara stopped coming to church. No call. No explanation. Nothing. Pastor Samuel tried to act like everything was normal, but anyone who looked closely could see the unease in his face. The elders exchanged glances. Mama Ruth watched him like someone preparing for a storm. Then the whispers began. At Mama Chioma's shop, someone said. "That girl, the quiet one, she's pregnant." The moment Pastor Samuel heard it, his throat went dry. He didn't know whether to sit, stand, pray, or run. For the first time in his ministry, he was truly afraid of the truth. The women of the church gathered in corners, muttering. "I know who the father is," one of Amara's friends claimed. "Who?" "You already know." Mama Ruth confronted her husband. "Samuel, look me in the eye and tell me you have nothing to do with this." He snapped at her, something he had never done before. "Stop asking me nonsense." Church members noticed the change in him. His voice lost its power. His messages lost life. He avoided people, especially the women. Attendance began to drop. People sensed something was wrong even though no one knew the full truth yet. One quiet morning, while Pastor Samuel was preparing for service, the church compound suddenly went silent. Everyone turned toward the entrance. A man walked in. Tall. Calm. Wearing red beads around his neck. His skin marked with black lines that told stories no one dared to ask about. He held a staff in his hand. He didn't shout. He didn't rush. He simply walked straight to the front and said, "I am Chief Mori, father of the pregnant girl." A chill spread across the compound. Nobody moved. He looked directly at Pastor Samuel and said, "Come outside. Now." Outside, the chief didn't waste time. "My daughter has spoken," he said. "She told me everything." Pastor Samuel tried to deny it, but the chief reached into his wrapper and pulled out a small pendant. "Does this look familiar?" "You gave it to her." People gasped. "You touched my daughter," the chief said. "You will answer to my ancestors." Before the pastor could gather himself, he was taken away, straight to Mwagu, under the watch of villagers who had heard the commotion. Word spread through Ezioke that the pastor had been dragged to a shrine. People waited, unsure if he would return alive. And that was how he ended up on his knees in front of the shrine. He looked up and saw Amara standing behind her father. Her eyes were swollen from crying. Her hands rested on her stomach. The chief pointed at him. "Confess." Pastor Samuel broke down. "I'm sorry," he said. "I failed. I am human." The chief didn't soften. "You will pay for what you did. You will confess publicly. And you will go through cleansing. If not, you won't leave this place as the man you came." The pastor nodded helplessly. But before the chief gave his final order, Amara stepped forward. "Papa, it was not like he forced me," she said quietly. "I went to him. I was confused. I only wanted someone to talk to. I didn't know it would end like this." The entire shrine fell silent. Chief Mori looked at her with disbelief. For the first time since he arrived, his anger weakened. He realized his daughter wasn't just angry, she was hurt, ashamed, and afraid. He looked at the pastor and said, "Go home. But your shame will walk with you." And just like that, he released him. Pastor Samuel returned to Ezioke a broken man. He stepped down from the pulpit. The church split, some people defended him, others left without looking back. Mama Ruth packed her bags and went to stay with her sister, refusing to speak to him for months. Amara gave birth to a baby girl. Chief Mori accepted the child into his household but wanted nothing more to do with the pastor. And in Ezioke, the story lived on. Not because of gossip, but because it became a reminder that even the strongest among us can fall when pride and loneliness meet. Until today, people still argue about whether Pastor Samuel ever found his way back to the man he once was.